Strict border control and solid prevention on the front line play a big part in Taiwan's strategy against the spread of coronavirus. It really takes collective efforts from the government, the industry, the academia, and research institutes to do that. Taiwan is doing quite well for now, but what about the future? How does the new phase of the economy look like? Having successfully developed quick test technologies and positive pressure testing booths, Taiwan actually has an edge to stand out in the world post-pandemic. To talk more about anti-epidemic technologies, we have the honor to invite the Vice President and General Director of Biomedical Technology and Device Laboratories, Industrial Technology Research Institute, ITRI, Dr. Chii-Wann Lin. Dr. Chii-Wann Lin, the time is yours right now.
It's my great pleasure to be here to share our current status of the anti-COVID-19 activities in ITRI. Particularly, I'm a graduate from Case Western Reserve University, major in biomedical engineering, and great to be here today to promote cooperations in the near future. Current efforts to develop rapid testing and ventilators. I'm glad here to share with you these two items from ITRI, and both items has been granted the emergency use approval from Taiwan FDA, and it's similar to the EUA in the United States. And I'll share with you these two items briefly. First, let's share with you with short videos clips for the scenarios of the use of our development technology.
In November 2019, a new pandemic caused by a new coronavirus, SARS-CoV-2, had emerged. Within a few months, this so-called COVID-19 pandemic had spread throughout the world, fast becoming the most severe adversity of this century. Once infected with SARS-CoV-2, symptoms span respiratory, digestive, and even neurological systems. Severe cases of the resulting viral pneumonia can result in death. Common strategies for controlling infectious diseases include early detection, prompt separation, and quarantine. In the case of COVID-19, symptoms early in the infection are similar to other respiratory diseases. As a result, super spreaders are difficult to identify. Once community and cluster infections of a highly contagious disease occur, overloading of the health systems will follow, and tragedy happens. The power of early intervention lies in flattening the curve, safeguarding the health system. Currently, nucleic acid detection methodology is used for early diagnosis, while antibody detections are used for later stage disease monitoring. Molecular diagnostic method involves sampling, sample processing, detection, and diagnosis. Most of these procedures have to be carried out in biosafety level 2+ laboratories. The advantages of high specificity and sensitivity of nucleic acid detection are shadowed by long turnover time. The SARS-CoV-2 IPMX molecular rapid screening system, developed by BDL ITRI, can amplify viral nucleic acid for early detection. Its portability enables its future use in clinics, nursing homes, and community health centers. Furthermore, in settings such as airports, harbors, and train stations, it is suitable for use as first-line screening. It is necessary to swiftly identify suspected patients, followed by segregation and confirmation. IPMX, a powerful molecular testing tool, enabling on-site screening and reducing healthcare workload, providing the best healthcare technology with ITRI innovation.
First of all, why the quick test of the molecular diagnosis is so important. From the June issues of New England Journal of Medicine, we learned that 40 to 45% of the patients, when test positive with traditional PCR testing, is asymptomatic. That means It has no symptoms, but has virus load. In the April issues of the Nature, we know for mild symptoms of the patients, the peak virus load is around 5 days, while those severe patients can carry the virus peak at about 10 to 11 days. So it is the critical issues to screen out those patients without symptoms, but can carry the virus to its community. From previous video, we learned the testing itself is a complex procedures and requires several important steps and teamwork to do the jobs. In this, we mean we need to collect the sample from the patients. We need to do the pre-processing to extract the RNA from the virus and do the amplification and testing detections on the device, and finally provide the report to take proper actions. And to further safeguard the frontline health worker, we also design and assemble a positive pressure boost to help prevent the virus getting into the health facility. And this boost can be expanded to reconfigure for more complex tasks, like taking imaging of X-ray from the patients outside of the hospital. We are happy to share with our audience that our IPMX received approval from TFDA under the Emergency Use Authorization on July 6. This including 3 items in the system of approval. One is the handheld device itself, and also the test kit and control kits. And earlier on July, we also received testing report from third party called QCMD with highly satisfactory testing results. That means in the category of reproducibility, false positive and false negative testing, all exceeding average performance. And our central epidemic commanding centers share this news with our national citizens about the performance of this test kits. Right now, we are working with our local supply chain companies together to mass production this test kits and system for the second wave of the pandemic use in the near future. The last thing I would like to share with you is our efforts in developing a so-called mechanical ventilators. This item also received emergency use authorization from TFDA on August 12th. It is based on an open ventilator project released by Medtronic by the end of March. We assemble and re-engineering this ventilator in 17 days and subsequently pass through the safety and functional test to receive this approval from TFDA. Right now, the prototype is into the mass productions with our local supply chain company and to mass produce these systems for further development. With that, we happy to see our efforts can be used through the cooperation of this program and further develop into the near future. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Lin. And just like you said, some technologies and services developed by ITRI have come into the second phase of mass production. So I'm just wondering, how does ITRI work with the industry for that and even expand to the global market?
ITRI itself is a non-profit organization funded by Minister of Economic Affairs. Our main task is to research and development. In my laboratories, we do research and development. And the manufacturers or mass productions is fostered through the ecosystems of local company. So together, we will transfer our technologies to our local company and in order to do the mass productions. And to further improve these innovations outcomes, we would further develop the new features for the testing kits and also the ventilators in the near futures.
Thank you. And I think this year, the COVID-19 really has put the biomedical industry under the spotlight. Mm-hmm. So what do you think the advantages of Taiwanese companies on that regard? And how do different players in the industry work together?
Taiwan has been known for its public health systems in the past. We have been managed to diminish a lot of infectious disease in the past decades. So together, we'll work with these big ICT companies. For example, we are working currently with Pegatrons on these ventilators and also working with Foxconns on this IVD devices and other companies for the complete of the ecosystems as the supply chains. And together, I think these companies will help us to promote these technologies for future use.
Mr. Lin, you just mentioned that some technologies developed by ITRI have come into the phase of mass production. Mm-hmm. So how will ITRI work with the industry to do that, or even expand to the global supply chain?
Yes, we will continue our effort in 4 directions: streamline and automation efforts for high throughput needs, foster area biomedical cluster, especially in Zhubei Biomedical Science Park, for co-creation of innovation products from industrial, clinical, and device service aspects. Focus on market-oriented mass production with secured, sustained key materials from U.S. and local suppliers and manufacturers. The last one is leverage technologies, capital resources to help Taiwanese companies to engage with potential international partners in biomedical sector, including drugs, devices, and distributors.
Yeah, I think the COVID-19 this year really puts the biomedical industry under the spotlight. Mm-hmm. What do you think the advantages of Taiwanese companies, and how do they work together to be more competitive on the world stage?
Okay. Taiwan has been known for its environment, hot and humidity in the past, historically affected by many seasonal infectious disease. Our public health system established many effective measures to contain or eliminate this life-threatening disease one by one in the past decades. Taiwan has also developed a lot of resources in basic education and training of biomedical talents. A lot of people have found successful careers in many countries, especially in the U.S. With limited natural resources, Taiwan depends on foreign markets with customer-centric mindset from early days of industrial transformation. With the successful economic contributions from ICT, precision machinery, and EMS in the past few decades, we are now seeing the joint efforts from cross-disciplinary and dynamics in ecosystems toward biomedical products for disease prevention, diagnosis, and treatments. We are more than happy to be part of the global partner networks to fight this pandemic together and help to facilitate the growth of new economics. We are looking forward to working with companies from U.S. in this uncertain period of pandemics. We do learn a lot from the open ventilator project released by Medtronic. We are now sharing this learned knowledge and experience with several of our EMS companies to find new opportunities in medical devices and healthcare service.
Yes, you mentioned about cross-border cooperation, especially between Taiwan and the U.S. So what do you see this kind of cooperative relationship go in the future, and how do we take it to the next level?
Yes. As mentioned by former Vice President Dr. Chen Jianren, on public health issues, we have a long history of cooperation dating back to 1982, for example, on polio vaccines, and 1993 on SARS control measure with the help from U.S. and attribute Dr. Thompson. Actually, on January 9, 1998, Taiwan also signed an exchange of letters regarding the mutual exchange of information on medical devices between TACO and AIT. In early June this year, Taiwan and U.S. also held a virtual round of Pacific Island Dialogue to initiate the cooperations on PPE health and vaccines development. This time, we are particularly excited to welcome visit of Minister Alex Azar and witness the signing ceremony of U.S. Taiwan Health Cooperation MOU on August 10th. The scope of this MOU expands to many global important SDGs issues, including digital health and health inequalities. Through this cooperative program, projects, and exchange visit, I believe that we will benefit from the sharing of knowledge and experience to fight the disease together and create new opportunities toward future success.
Thank you very much, Dr. Chii-Wann Lin, for your wonderful talk, and we look forward to more cooperation between Taiwan and the U.S. In a world struck by the pandemic, the shortage of PPE might become a threat to national security. How to prevent PPE manufacturers from relying too much on foreign supply chains and to ensure the funding from the central government to fuel local production has become one of the most imminent issues facing us nowadays. Mitrix, Taiwan's largest manufacturer of filtering materials on mass production, has a lot of clients all over the world, but during the pandemic this year, Mitrix turned down their offers just to focus on the production to meet domestic needs. And it also accomplished a mission impossible, working with different partners of the industry to build a complete mass supply chain in Taiwan. Joining me right now is Dr. Siming Gu, President of Mitrix Health Technologies. Dr. Gu, the time is yours right now.
Yes, we did participate the most important job during the pandemic duration so far. Please allow me to take a couple of minutes to introduce Mitrix. Mitrix Health Technologies was established in 1990, so this year we are 30 years. Our core business, even up to date, we focus on melt-blown fabrics. The core applications of these fabrics is actually in this area called separation. In separation area, you can have this medical face mask, industrial face mask. We all know that in the air, we need to separate something, separate bad particles, separate bad bacteria. So we are in the separation areas. Thermal insulation is something like we separate different degree of warmness or something like that. We keep the warm, or we separate some energies that in that sense. And the liquid filtration is also another form of separations, because in the water they have some harmful or bad particles, materials, chemicals, so that we have to take them out. So we separate the good water from the bad particles. We also can produce, the application in acoustics insulations. That is in a sense of separate energies in the form of sounds, right? Therefore, your car could be very quiet. You have excellent driving experience. And we also could, apply to reduce this, we call the leukocyte cells. During the blood transfusions, the white blood cell usually need to be taken out so that we can enhance the, blood transfusion safety. So in all those applications, you can see we are doing separations. So I think that is our core applications. So, but let's focus on today's topic is this PPE, okay? They have many formats of PPE, but Chii-Wann focus on these mask areas. So if we decompose a mask, you can find 5 major components in a mask. So in the front, we have this spun-bound parts. And spun-bound is a materials which can prevent, the water spray or something like that. And in the middle part is the male-borne fabrics, and which is our, our major products. And in the inner layer is this thermal bond, and which can keep you, because our skin, our lip, is very or we attach to the mask. So therefore, you have a very nice or gentle touch with our lip or skin. And you have this ear loop and also the nose bridge. So therefore, we have 5 major components to form a mask. So I think now the audience or the guests, you have an idea about the supply chain. Actually, before the pandemic, mask is not an important issue. So you can find very cheap, or you can buy the mask, but without pay too much attention on their quality. But even so, the Chii-Wann, our R&D lab, we are very pursuing the innovations. So we can have a lot of new innovations, starting from by providing the mask which has the blocking function, and we have the trapping function, and currently we have this contact and kill. Kills means today's mask, we capture or we trap the bacteria, for instance, on the middle layer of the fabrics. But our new next generation's product is you will not just trap it, you kill it. So that is enhance the safety of the mask. And we have others applications, which is you probably know that we have these HEPA filters and others applications. And we have these new materials we call the nanometer platinum filters, which we have already passed some testing bureaus. Their records show that our performance was excellent. So I think Chii-Wann actually cares your health. So we have many applications like this. So now let me go back to we call the male-borne process, which is it's about like 25 meters in length. If you go to my plant to see a production process. And starting from the very beginning, we use the PP material, the plastics. We call this the PP, the polypropylene, that kind of type of plastics, and then go through a very high temperatures procedures so that melt the plastics, so that becomes like something like a liquid, and then pass through some very, very tiny hole, so that with some air suction functions, so now we have the fabrics which could be used to produce a mask. I think in later on we can see some film to illustrate these procedures. And this is a very abstract production systems plot. You can see that, and I think later on you can see that. And why I introduced this, because during the past 3 months, we are not just working with our, fabrics production partners. We also work with machinery, because some company, they produce the machine. So we work with them so that we enhance the efficiency of the machines. Therefore, currently, we are not just produce the fabrics, we can also provide system transfer to any countries. I think that we are, in total, we help other countries to install their own systems. So I think that's very important too. Okay, here we have a very short film. So you can see that this is the process that Matrix can actually produce very high qualities the fabrics. Currently, I think until September, so we already order and install 8 production lines like this. Okay, so this one is a new one, so that you can slit the fabrics at the same time. So. Okay, so later on you can see you can slice, okay, the fabrics. It takes a couple of seconds to see this. Okay, so you can see now you can see that they have turned the big jumbo roll into a nice small slice, and you can see this. We already go downstream to the end product. So we extend our services to provide the different functions of mask. So this is the process that assembly the 5 components I mentioned to you before, that you can see, okay, this is the C-type mask. Our product has the equivalent we call N92. Okay, people heard N95, and this is not N95, but it provides the protection equivalent to like N95, N92 degrees. Okay, so that is our our product and our process.
Thank you to Dr. Gu for your talk, and please accept my personal admiration and gratitude first.
No.
Thank
Yes.
you to Matrix
Thank you.
and the national team for
thank
what
you.
you've done to Taiwan
Sure.
and what you've done to the world. So I'm just thinking that the achievement of the national team, a lot of people will say it's a miracle,
Sure.
or it's a mission impossible.
Right.
But what do you think really the key factors are?
Yeah, I think right before the outbreak of this COVID-19, actually in Taiwan, we could only produce per day less than 2 million pieces of the mask. But we have 23 million people in Taiwan, so that is far from enough to provide the protections. So I think the key factors is that I think they have 3 key factors. Is that first, our government, they have kept the knowledge about the previous harmful event, the SARS. We have this SARS experience, so I think the government, they have set up a very good policy and a systematic approach to organize the producers. The producer I mentioned, we have 5 different components. So each components, they have different companies. So I think the government, they have this, inform us, the producers in advance. For instance, the newspaper may announce, say, okay, this week, the whole country can produce, say, 6 million per day. But in fact, we already obtained the information. We are preparing for 10 millions.
Wow.
So when government, the newspaper is say, okay, now in the market, we provide 10 millions a piece of mask, and actually the producer, we are preparing the 15 millions. So we prepare in advance by following the government's goal. So government play a very key factors because they provide this information and some incentive, because we don't export our product to the foreign customers or clients, and we focus on the Taiwan. So the government also provide incentives to the players. And I think because the government they set the goal in advance, and we have a very nice coordination systems. So goal and coordination and cooperations make this system work. So I think to answer Raymond your questions, I think this through key components, key setup is very important. Let me elaborate more on these coordinations. Coordination, this is a big system, so because to coordinate so many players is not easy. Okay, for instance, because this is an outbreak event, so suddenly you don't have enough laborers, right? You don't have enough workforce. So you cannot imagine the government. They are genius. They ask the Department of Defense to provide, to use their military personnel to come to the plant to help us. So that's, unbelievable. And, electricity is another issue. So suddenly we increase our production capacities. We don't have electricity, but, to set up the electricity is not like the plug and play event. It's not that easy. It is involve different other parties to come in to help. So we have a lot of partners, especially come from the government side. They really come to help us. So coordinations becomes a key factors, and the corporations means that. In the industry, originally we produce the same materials. We should be competitors, right? But because in this COVID-19 that straight our local people's life, we become a team members. So we help each other. If A companies they are shortage of this the PP materials, we provide them because we have excess amount of the PPs. So we become a partners. So I think that's the government. They have a very good plan in advance and set the goal so that we can follow very good tempos, and the coordinations and corporations becomes two important factors. But overall, the major important issue, the factor is the whole citizens, they support governments. I think that's a very important factor. So I think to answer your questions, I think all those four major components or the factors make this time Taiwan great. Yes.
Yes, thank you so much, Dr. Gu. And we know that a lot of the times, actually, the most difficult part is not even the technology, but how to bring different players together. Exactly. And in this case, you managed to bring competitors together and make them into your partners.
Right,
that was quite an achievement.
Exactly. Yes.
Thank you so much. And this brings me to my second question. A lot of people say that there will be a lot of new trends, a lot of new business models after the COVID-19.
Sure.
I want to focus on the PPE industry here.
Yes. Right.
What is your take on that? What do you see any new trends coming in this industry?
Oh yes. But depends on where is your locations. The first one is just as I mentioned that before the COVID-19, people is not aware of the importance of the face mask. But after this, we saw so many statistics, so scaleful, so many fearful report about the outbreak in every country. So that bring the awareness of the local peoples to know the importance. So I mean that create a huge demand in the face the mask. So that is the one key factor. So that why the market or the PPE becomes so important. And the second one is originally China is the major players in these areas. They provide the mountain high that kind of capacities of a face mask with a very, very low prices. But unfortunately this time the quality seems not appreciated by many countries. So that provides us another chance. So new market demand and different players, they change their role. So that gives especially the PPE companies in Taiwan so great opportunities. And so that is the new market. I mean, we also have new products, okay? Because many like the HEPA I just mentioned, okay? You probably don't know that N95 is a mask. Yes, it is a mask, but it cannot wear for a long time, right? Because PPE provide, N95 provide very good protections, but it is not good for you to breathe. So now the new product is while we keep this good protection effects, but we allows you to wear it for a longer time. So that provides better protections for, especially for this medical staff. Okay, so I think we have new products. So PPE now they have new opportunities, and we have new services. And the new services coming from that because originally we don't talk to upstream or downstream. We just focus on our fabrics. But this time integrations bring us together. We work together as a team. So now we suddenly realize, okay, when we work together, so we have this great new service occurs. So that is another new opportunities. And the final one I want to mention is the new fulfillment. Now you can see that now most of the countries now they realize we cannot count on certain countries. Okay, so we have to have our basic production capacity in our countries for those PPE, especially those basic essentials. So I think all those give us good opportunities when we look at this after pandemic. This kind of a threat. Yeah.
And I want to end our talk with a bigger question.
Yes.
Through the pandemic this year, a lot of people see the pros and cons of globalization or localization. What do you think the best balance is? What do you think the best trade-off is?
Well, I think this is a not easy answer question.
Yeah.
Yes. But traditionally, I mean, so we are in this globalization. So we work, we had a good experience. But recently, you can see that because during this outbreak, some countries, as I mentioned, they realized that you cannot count on other or certain countries. So I believe for some PPEs, many countries will establish their own, minimum capacities which they can produce by themselves. So I think those two, especially in PPE, they are all possible models. But my point is that it doesn't matter which one you will adopt. Like a matrix, we take the mixture models. For some clients, we provide through this globalization approach. For others, we go there to establish by system transfer so that they have these localizations. But I mean, depends, it doesn't matter which one you choose, but the quality will be the most important issues. So if go by this globalization, okay, I think this is a new vocabulary, right?
Yes.
Quality in this PPE will be the most crucial factors. I don't think price is not so important because life is priceless, right? So I think provide the good quality of this face mask is the most important issue. I hope I answer to your questions, but I think that is to take this trade-off or to take the balance is not easy.
Exactly.
Yes,
That's always very difficult,
Yes.
especially for decision makers like you, Dr. Gu.
Yeah.
And Dr. Gu, thank you so much for your very informative sharing with us.
Thank you.
With that, the U.S. Taiwan Summit on Life and Economy Saving Technology also comes to an end. We'd like to thank all our speakers for their insights. Also, we thank you very much for watching. Taiwan can help. Together we win. Together we succeed.
Taiwan, USA, Industrial Cooperation Promotion Office, MOEA. Your professional and best partner. TUSA.